you back to a story we first told you about last weekend, which is still turning the medical world upside down. This is KJ, and he was born with severe enzyme deficiency. But in February, at nearly 7 months old, KJ was treated with a customized gene editing therapy. KJ's treatment went incredibly well, and now his story could be the turning point for medical treatment in the future.
And to tell us more on the impact of this procedure, our 9 News health expert, Dr. Paul Coley, is joining us today to fill us in on all of this. So, Dr. Coley, good morning to you. First of all, why is this getting so much attention?
What an incredible story.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, KJ is paving the path for us because it's the first time we've done what's called in vivo gene editing in a tiny little baby like this, just a few months old. And that essentially means that we gave him a medication that went in and edited the gene in his liver. Right. So you actually changed the kind of DNA,
right.
Corrected the mutation that he had, and essentially sort of gave him a permanent cure, so to speak.
Talk to us about the options that parents had to really rely on to make the decision for him to get this gene editing therapy.
I mean, this is a gut-wrenching decision for every parent. Corey, you're a parent, you can understand. So the baby was born healthy, and then just within a few weeks it became apparent that he's not healthy because every time he ate protein, it actually wasn't metabolized properly. It created a toxic substance called ammonia that can cause permanent neurological damage. So they had 2 options. One was to wait till he was a year old and list him for a liver transplant, but by then the ammonia could have already caused permanent brain damage, neurological injury, or to go for this experimental therapy that's never before been done in a baby. They don't really know how safe it is, how effective it is, but really they put their baby almost as an experiment to really help push the frontier of medicine, but also give him a chance.
Yeah, that's really scary, and we're happy to see positive outcomes from this, but I can imagine it came with its fair share of challenges as well.
Yes, it did. And so one of the biggest challenges in gene editing is that nobody wants to do it because it's really expensive. It takes a lot of research to develop. And if you're talking about rare genetic conditions, the return on investment, the financial benefit of designing these really complicated treatments is not necessarily there. So a lot of pharmaceutical companies aren't interested in developing gene editing, which leaves babies like KJ who are born with these rare genetic conditions really without any good treatment. So what we're trying to do to really address this challenge is to see if we can do almost like a template for gene editing where you just change the gene. So use this blueprint of how to go in and edit the gene so that we don't have to start from scratch every time. But the next time there's another baby with a different gene that's mutated, you just sort of change the gene you're correcting. And then you can also imagine the ethical implications of editing genes, right? What does that mean? Are we starting down a slippery slope?
Right.
What types of genes are okay to edit? What types are not? And since this was a first in baby sort of experiment, there was a huge ethics committee involved in this case that really looked at everything and said, is it okay for us to subject a little tiny baby to this type of a treatment?
So right now it's showing promising results, but what questions remain unanswered about what the future looks like for the kid?
So, as a physician, I have a lot of questions. How safe is this in the long term? Do we know that? He tolerated the treatment really well. Sometimes your liver can freak out when you're editing genes in the liver, but he seemed to do fine. He slept through the entire treatment. Yeah. But also not just, how safe is it? How efficacious is it? Is this for life now?
Yeah.
Does he have to keep doing this every few years? How long do we think it will last? And those sorts of questions will inform our decision for gene editing as well. Now we know in conditions like sickle cell anemia, last year we had the first time that they did what's called a CRISPR gene editing, where they went in and actually put a typo in the gene to cure sickle cell anemia in an older person, and it worked really well. We're looking at this for cholesterol genes, which as a cardiologist, I'm super excited
Right,
about.
yeah.
Because people are born with a defect in the cholesterol gene, make too much cholesterol. It's a death sentence. You're going to have a heart attack or stroke in your 30s or 40s or 50s. So if you edit that gene, put a typo in it so it turns off, could that be a durable solution?
A game changer entirely for that.
Very much. I mean, I'm really excited about the future. I think the ethics piece of it is going to be really important.
Absolutely.
The cost piece is going to be really important.
Totally.
But if we can start to bring therapies like this, not just for rare genetic disorders, but even for things like cholesterol, we could change the way we treat disease.
Oh, what a wild story. I'm glad the kid's doing all right, though.
Sam, what a cutie,
crazy.
too.
Yes, he's so cute.
Dr. Coley, thank you.